What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, continuing my deep dive into the Grateful Dead's officially released 1973 shows. Done a handful of other tours elsewhere on the channel, but we're pretty deep into 73 now. We're going to attack the Here Comes Sunshine 1973 17 CD box set, 5 shows. I've already done one of those shows, the RFK show, which was independently released out of this box set. So we're now going to do the first show of this box set, May 13th, 1973. Going to talk about this show, then I'm going to rank it among the other 73 shows that I've talked about. This is a monster show. 4 hours plus. Monster. It's like 31 songs, 3 sets, takes 4 discs in the box set. This thing is an absolute just a beast of a show. First set, nothing really jammy in the first set. We get a nice China Rider in there that has sort of a, I don't want to say a half-baked, but kind of a not fully committed feeling groovy jam. It feels groovy, but it's a little more diffuse than maybe we're used to. It's got a really nice Road Jimmy that somehow seems to be the spiritual centerpiece of that set. We got a second set that is, for the most part, like another first set, except it ends with 40 minutes of Here Comes Sunshine and playing in the band with an absolutely monstrous playing in the band. And then we have a third set that's just kind of perfect from start to finish. The band is just locked in. They're confident. This is a band who knows who they are, knows what they want to do. They're ready to just like explore at any moment in time. It is interesting at how just non-jammy the first set is, yet is still just so incredibly satisfying because the band still finds little corners to add like just little bits of their personality through these otherwise normal set of songs that kind of get played night after night after night. So by the time we get to the third set, there were just so many moments where it's just like the band's like, hey, let's just come play over here for a little while before we go back to the song and take our time exploring this. And there's just, I don't know, it is just an absolutely engaging, compelling, thrilling 4 hours of music. Set 1, all of the entirety of disc 1, 14 songs. Just some really good high energy stuff, lots of good bounce. Everybody's fully engaged. Promised Land, Deal. I love early Deals. I'm from the age when Deals closed the first set and were epic and like 10 minutes long. I kind of like this little second set, high energy, 5.5 minute deal. Works really well. Mexicali, super bouncy. They love each other. We got that bridge. Box of Rain, Loser, always up for Loser. Though Jerry does kind of feel like he's almost like struggling to squeeze out a solo, like he's going for some really angsty stuff and maybe doesn't quite work, but always interested in a Loser. Beat It On Down the Line. We get a dun 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 5-beat intro. China Cat, really nice, good energy. Like the jam is fantastic, but when they go into the feely groovy jam, it is almost like, oh, we're just here, we're just feeling groovy. It's a neat little transition. Keith especially is really feeling the grooviness. He's got some really nice bouncy energy in this, and his presence once again, 73 and Keith. It's just awesome to hear a fully engaged Keith. Ryder, really funky Garcia soloing in Ryder. We get an El Paso. We get a Road Jimmy, which for some reason just really stands out to me. There's just a classiness to it. There's that sort of bittersweet nostalgia that Jerry just kind of hints at with his guitar playing. The vibe is perfect. The energy is perfect. Yeah, I don't know why, but the Road Jimmy, I think, just hits particularly hard. Me and My Uncle also has great energy. We get a Don't Ease Me In, which also there's just a really good positive vibe about the end of the set. Keith sounds great. Jerry squeezing out another solo, and then we get a fun around and around to close the first set that definitely doesn't feel like they're leaving it all out there. It feels like we're saving up a little bit of energy because we got a lot more ahead of you. So we're just going to like up the stakes a little, but not, make you too tired. Nice around and around to close the first set. The second set fits entirely on disc 2. 8 songs, with one of those songs being a 30-minute playing in the band. Opens up with the Tennessee Jed. I've said this every time I've reviewed a Tennessee Jed. This song always delivers. I don't know what it is about Tennessee Jed, but the energy is always perfect. Jerry's solo is super tasty. Absolutely fantastic Tennessee Jed. We get a Big River. The lighting just seems weird today. We get a Big River. I've always been a fan of the Tennessee Jed Big River pairing, because in order to get to Tennessee from the west, you have to go over the Big River. So I've always thought that was cool. Yeah, there we go. Maybe that's the problem, that light. Sorry for this weird lighting stuff. So I like the Tennessee Big River thing. We get a Bertha after that, which is some really good energy. Maybe the reason they're heading east from the west is because whatever happened up in Marin County with Bertha, and then they had to flee and go across the Big River to Tennessee. Then we get a Jack Straw. Excellent energy in the Jack Straw. Sugaree, which just feels just smooth, like well-lived, like the story aspect of this just resonates really well. Another one like Road Jimmy that just seems to be like holding a special place. Jerry's just bringing it. Then we get a Looks Like Rain, which kind of is tender, a little bit heartbreaking. Just the band's in their emotions in the best way possible in this show. And then the show just goes to the next level and really starts to take off at this point. We got a Here Comes Sunshine. That jam is just absolutely adventurous, exploratory, confident, energetic. When they kind of go back to the Here Comes Sunshine to like have that short little jam before they go back into the final vocals, that short little jam gets weird and really starts to push the envelope, and Jerry's getting a little more aggressive. This is only the 5th Here Comes Sunshine, but you can feel their confidence in this song and their excitement into like exploring it and jumping into that middle section. Just a perfect Here Comes Sunshine, worthy of having a box set named after it. And then we get the 30-minute playing in the jam, playing in the band. That's just, it is a psychedelic journey. This is this band in its just purest, most straightforward. We're out there, we're exploring, we're in space, we're going to take our time. It's very dynamic. We get funkier, we get more frenetic, we kind of bring it down. We never have that full entropic moment where like things just fall apart and people are making noises. There is a cohesion to this almost the entire time, and yet at the same time we're like, somebody's got their foot on the accelerator and we're always just like moving forward, exploring like new little corners of the universe. Couple times like a whole new theme, like around the 16-70-minute version of like the jam, we get this whole new sort of melodic theme around which we're jamming. We're off the grid even in playing in the band terms, but we're not like when it gets really chaotic and noisy, that's your typical playing in the band. When we break down and we're just floating in space, you get those in playing in the band. This one, we're just like exploring all these new themes and ideas. Like there's this kind of crazy fingers-esque sight time when people are doing like these like cascading musical ideas and thoughts. It gets beautiful. We start to get, the closer we get to the 30-minute mark, little snippets of playing in the band start popping in. There are times when it starts to get really quiet, but then Bill or Jerry just amp up the energy. And it really, really, really isn't until they're set on returning to the reprise and finishing the song when we kind of bring it down, like knowing that, okay, this is the last time. And then we're just going to bring it back up and finish strong. It is just a beautifully executed, well explored, just at no point do they sound like they're getting bored or running out of ideas. It seems like, hey, we got to wrap this up. This second set's way past an hour now. So at some point we just got to come home because we're running out of gas. And they eventually just bring it home and land, and absolutely perfect, absolutely beautiful. There should be a box set at some point of just the playing in the bands from 73 and 74. Just put all those on one box set. I will buy that. And then the third set is over 2 discs, though one of the discs is like one of those really short, less than 30 minutes discs, disc 3. So disc 3, third set, starts off with a Mississippi half step, just perfect energy, kind of a lazy river vibe. Like we're going into the third set with like, we're not rushing into it, we're engaged, but we're also kind of laid back and taking it easy. Just absolutely perfect. That closing solo just feels grand and stately and like proud. Then we get a greatest story ever told, which is like smoking and fiery and blistering, and we're up in the energy. And that closing jam is like, all right, we're warmed up, we're ready to go. Let's go, let's do it. Let's do it. Then we get a Brown Eyed Women, which is again like maybe just relaxing for a little while before we really take off. And then here on the disc, we get Casey Jones, which is the encore. Some really good Keith energy there. Kind of weird to hear it here, but it also kind of works. And if you're wondering why this disc is so short and why Casey Jones is now here, 3 songs into the third set, it's because what happens next is essentially almost 70 minutes of just pure nonstop music with a little break before a closing Sugar Mac. He's Gone. Just beautiful. Sounds beautiful from the start, like the Road Jimmy from the first set, kind of like the Mississippi Half Step, kind of like, what was it, some other song that I mentioned. It just feels sugary. It just feels right. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's engaged. It is just one of those versions that is just perfect. The vocal jam is wonderful. Keith is getting jazzy. Keith is very active. And we have a really nice post-vocal jam. So they do the vocal jam and then the band kind of jams. And it is really cool in both this and in the Truckin' Jam that follows Truckin'. For a long while, like, it's not going into this bluesy territory. It's not really going out there. They're really kind of playing around with the He's Gone melody and staying in like the He's Gone neighborhood. But at the same time, they're kind of pushing the energy. They're kind of just, pushing the fringes of going into like a deep psych jam. But at the same time, sticking to that He's Gone vibe and not abandoning it. And that's pretty cool. And then as it starts to break down, Phil immediately just starts pushing. Phil and Bill start pushing the Truckin' energy, so things quickly disintegrate. We're off into Truckin'. Great pace to the Truckin'. Kind of fast, high energy. Jerry's got all kinds of just awesome little fiery little fills throughout that are just kind of pushing, kind of feisty, kind of just against the flow, but in the right way. We get a really short peak attack after the vocals, where we bring it up and then drop it. And Jerry's just scrappy, playing a lot of chords, bringing a lot of just really kind of frantic energy, but not really pushing that blues too much. And we stay with the Truckin' melody as we continue this jam. We don't go into this cool blues jam. We don't do anything too psyche. We kind of stay with the Truckin' energy, which is kind of cool. Eventually, this gives way to Phil taking a bass solo. It's just Phil and Bill for a while. And then after we get a nice good bass drum action, we're clearly off into the other one. And we're jamming the other one. We're pushing other one energy. We're abandoning other one energy and going way out there and exploring new avenues. At one point when we're clearly like, was it an other one tease? Are we going to get a first verse? Who knows? Then it seems like things start to break down and Bill starts to push what sounds like he's trying to get the Spanish jam going. Maybe Bob entertains it for a second, but nobody really commits to it. So then we go off in this whole other new direction that just seems like we're completely off the grid, even as far as the other one is. Eventually, after quite a while of just exploring and jamming and like teasing the other one, but never quite committing to it, we finally commit to it. We get a first verse, and then almost immediately after the first verse, we dissolve into chaos and things start to fall apart. It's getting weirder. It's getting psychier. Jerry's just squeezing out these like singular notes. Jerry starts just straight up going off to like this really chaotic climax. And then we get kind of dissonant and out there. And, it's just things are falling apart. We have pushed the spaceship as far as we can. And like panels are falling apart. We're losing momentum when in the midst of our nightmare, Eyes of the World just comes out and we're off into an absolutely glorious 15, 60-minute Eyes. This is soaring from the beginning. The band is so completely locked in. Every single solo between the verse choruses is beautiful. When we get out of the final verse chorus, the third one, we're starting to push into some darker energy, and we get that really interesting little tension and release thing that they do Stronger Than Dirt. So we get like Eyes of the World proper, then we get this awesome closing jam, and then we go to that like Stronger Than Dirt-esque coda with all those weird changes. And in that little middle jam, like they keep pushing Entropy like it's going to happen, and then it comes back together, and then they'll kind of raise the intensity and then lower it back down. And there really seems to be this odd, like, just keep everybody on their toes. We're not really going to commit anything. It has this almost just like flirting with chaos energy. And then when they jump into the Stronger Than Dirt-esque jam, like they are hitting it hard, almost as if they can't wait to get through it so that they can jam some more, because they're just so locked in as a band. The energy is amazing. They run through the Stranger Than Dirt. Then we get to this like crazy, chaotic, busy, just exclamatory peak that is just channeling all this energy that they've been like playing with for the past, at this point, like 60 minutes. And then all of that just kind of downshifts, leads us right into a China Doll. And it's a pretty, we're going to get you from the beginning China Doll. Jerry comes out strong vocally, really nice closing solo, but it's concise, it's focused, it's beautiful. It's an excellent, excellent cap to this 70-minute run. And then just to prove how good they are, they follow it up with a Sugar Magnolia that is just like, I mean, Jerry's playing in this. They push it. It's absolutely like, you almost kind of wish they left after China Doll because it was perfect, but the Sugar Mag delivers. So like, hey, we understand. We know that China Doll was the end of perfection, but we're still going to just absolutely deliver. Yeah, and then Casey Jones would have been the encore, but we already heard it. It's fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, the first set, a whole bunch of short songs that are just fun to hear. The second set ends with that just amazing Here Comes Sunshine playing in the band. And then the third set, just fantastic. Just absolutely just a band that for a year and a half, I think is just in peak form, is here for 4 hours in peak form. Question is, where would I rank this among all the others that I've already done? And I have it at number 6, which means, not that it's in any way bad, but that's because despite all the lavish praise I've just heaped on this show, and despite the fact that I just keep saying that it's like perfect and that they can do no wrong, yeah, well, they also do no wrong on in November and December when they're even better. That RFK show, which is from this box set, They Can Do No Wrong. What they have, the Volume 16, there's an epic Dark Star in there in which They Can Do No Wrong. Yeah, these are all other shows in which they can do no wrong, and then even the ones below them. Really, it just comes down to my own peculiarities and what I'm looking for, and really, maybe recency bias, maybe, I don't know, who knows. These are all fantastic. You can't go wrong with 73. This whole process is stupid. But that's all I got for now. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this show if you listen to it. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all those things. And yeah, go listen to the Grateful Dead, people. Go listen to the Grateful Dead. Amazing. And 73, 74, this band is just peaking. All right, that's all I got. Peace. Talk to you later.